Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion Network's premier media podcast. Every fortnight we get together to talk about movies, TV and online content and help you answer the question, why would you think in 2022 it's a good idea to cast James Franco as Fidel Castro? Cuban revolutionary Fidel Castro in 2022. I'm your host.
I thought he was just going to leave it as. I thought he was just going to leave it at cast James Franco.
That's a fair point. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Don Blatt.
Happy to be here talking about Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro and Batgirl. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about. All right. Today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history, becoming a little bit of film news, really just one news story, which just fractures into multiple news stories. We'll give you some thumbs to trailers. We're talking about this week's top 3. Let's kick things off. The big cinematic release of the past fortnight, Bullet Train, the latest film by David Leitch, starring Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, Joey King, Zazie Beetz, Bad Bunny. This is the movie that got him in that Sony movie. Dylan, what do you think of... Actually, I'll go first.
Wait, Bad Bunny's in this movie?
Yeah, you saw the movie, didn't you?
Yeah, is he the like hitman dude or whatever?
Yeah, he's the wolf.
Right, okay, gotcha. Yep. Okay, that
yes.
Makes sense. No, yeah.
So this is a story about a bunch of assassins. One played by Brad Pitt, who's like a reformed, or one who's just gone through some sort of traumatic experience, is going through like a reflection on life and whether he wants to continue to be a killer. But he's doing this snatch and grab job on this bullet train in Tokyo, in which he has to grab a briefcase. Unfortunately, the train is full of other assassins who are either wanting to look after the case or have other motives. And then, a mystery unfolds kind of over the course of this train trip to Kyoto. As to why they're all on the train, what's in the briefcase, what's all their motives. I found it very fun. I don't think the story is terribly strong. I think, characters' motivations kind of come out of nowhere and like stuff like that. But the Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry, they're super funny and like enjoyable to watch. A lot of action sequences are very well put together, as you would expect from, David Leitch. It definitely feels like a modern kind of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, kind of because of that, all the interconnections between everything that kind of play out, but with that Deadpool like tone and comedy style. So I found it very enjoyable. What about you, Don?
I thought it was fine. Like, it was enjoyable enough, but yeah, I didn't love it. I think it's the very, very, very much wishes it was a Guy Ritchie film. Very inspired by Guy Ritchie. I saw don't know who to credit, but I saw someone else tweet that it was like Guy Ritchie crossed with Shooter, the movie Shooter, which I was like, oh no, is it Shooter or Shot? The one with Clive Owen, which I feel like is a pretty apt way to describe that movie. Brad Pitt's a lot of fun. Aaron Taylor-Johnson's a lot of fun. That other dude who I can't remember is a lot of fun.
Which dude?
His brother.
Brian Tyree Henry.
That one, yeah.
Way more Thomas the Tank Engine discussion than I was expecting going into this movie.
A lot of Thomas the Tank Engine.
So if you want to prepare for this movie, watch some Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, it will actually help you.
Yeah.
You're a fucking diesel, you are. Yeah, but I mean, it was fun. But I would disagree. I'd say the action was like the least interesting part of the movie. I feel like the action's just so boring, like for the most part. Okay. I don't feel like any of the fights were particularly well put together, or like the most fun I was having in the movie was just when people were talking. But I also feel like that's a negative because the movie at 2 hours feels like it should have been 90 minutes. Definitely drags, especially towards the end. I feel like once
it does feel like multiple acts just kind of happen.
Yeah, I can't say without spoilers, but there is a point where it's like, especially once like a certain other character gets aboard the train, like right before its final stop. From that point onwards, I was like, "Fuck this movie!" This like, I don't know, from that point on, I felt like it really dragged, and the big reveal at the end of who the bad guy was did nothing for me, really. It just felt like a dumb cameo. And then there's like that ridiculous CGI sequence right at the end as well, where I'm like, you should definitely be dead, but whatever. So dumb.
But it's a fun ridiculousness throughout so much.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it's, I would say if you're not going to rush it, I wouldn't suggest rushing it to watch it on the cinema, like just watch Top Gun again, or something else. But if you want to save watching this till it's on like Netflix or something or whatever, I mean, that's sort of where I'd put it. Like it's fun enough, but yeah, I didn't love it.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it, but from what I've seen online, it's like more people, at least critically, are on your side. So take that with what you will, but I found it very enjoyable. And also don't leave as soon as the credits start. That's my only other.
There's an after credits? Oh no, there's that
like a mid-credits thing.
Yeah, I saw that. No, I saw that. That's fine.
Yeah, that was worth it. Yeah.
That was worth it. That was funny. Yeah.
Very funny. Yeah. How'd you feel? There's also like a bunch of cameos. I don't know if there was like a thing. That's
what I'm saying. The big cameo is dumb. The cameo right at the end, I don't think counts because you'd already heard that voice, so I'm not sure that really counts.
I think she's being advertised as being in the movie.
Yeah, okay,
like,
right.
They put like out an image of her as part of press. So,
the random cameo on the train is whatever. I guess like they're all friends now or something. I don't. I mean,
it must be because I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt was in Deadpool 2, right? Did a cameo in that? He was like the invisible dude, like who turns into Brad Pitt.
I'm just trying to say not which movies these people are from because he gives away who the cameos are.
Okay, yeah.
Like, so Brad Pitt has been in
a movie with two of these
everyone, yes, everyone who cameos in this, Brad Pitt has appeared in a movie with them in a cameo or supporting role in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it feels very in-house. It's like a lot of connections. So, yeah.
This is the movie
they get laughs, like, you know, when you find out who, what was it?
Brad Pitt's the funniest part of this. Just the fact he's so upset every time something goes wrong and he kills someone. And just his reaction or like his delivery of like always explaining this win. That's what I'm saying. There are good parts of the movie and Brad Pitt's definitely the highlight. Just him being like, in front of us, there's a door. And in that door, there's a wall. And no, there's a window, or is it a door? Fuck. And all this, like, just the way he delivers all these lines and stuff is, quite amusing.
Brad Pitt's the highlight here. Like,
and the plot of the movie is literally Clerks, because he's like, I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Carver, that's who it was. When they reveal who Carver is, that got a pop in my audience, so I don't know. Just because of the pure audacity, it's stupidness of it. But yeah. So Bullet Train. Make up for himself whether you should go watch it or not. Dylan, you checked out, after I watched The Rescue last episode, you've gotten to watch 13 Lives, the new film from Ron Howard. It just came released on Amazon Prime Video about the Thailand soccer team cave rescue.
Yeah. So it's about the funny thing is, because like I feel like it's a movie called 13 Lives. It's not really about the kids at all. The movie starts with the kids. That's because, as I discussed, I think, last episode,
they don't have the rights to do the kid story. No. And it was just announced this week that the Netflix going.
Yes.
Fucking ridiculous.
Which when I saw that press release come through, I was like,
you really fucked up.
That's like literally a month apart from the release dates. But anyway, so this one's Ron Howard. I feel like he's restrained. He is usually sort of very over the top sort of style of filmmaking that he has for a lot of his movies. And this is very by the numbers in the way of telling the story. And by that, I simply mean, like, I don't feel like there's, and if there is any, I don't feel like it was noticeable where he's pulled any ridiculous stretches of characterizations or elements of the story. I feel like he's taking it serious. Because, I mean, it's a serious, like, obviously, people did die, so it's not something you should really mess around with. It's a horrible story. But, and I also feel like the other super interesting element I had for this movie and anything else that touches on it is there is like a whole potential white savior element to it. And I feel like he sort of tries to do away with that as much as he can while not playing into the while not like ignoring, of course, like the parts that are factual, but also not like, I guess, elevating them to make it like white saviorish, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's because
I thought it was really good. To be white saviory when the white people do the saving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then I feel like if you do this movie and you ignore the fact that there was like the Thailand divers and all these other sort of things, you just make out like it was the white dudes that came in and did all the work, then that's the way you make this movie white saviorish, but which I feel like potentially could have happened in another world. But so Viggo Mortensen's really good in this. He plays like this really he plays I'm trying to find the people's names. Rick Stanton, so he's one of the original divers that come in along with Colin Farrell's character, they're real life people. John Volnathan. Anyway, so they're the two dudes for like sort of your leads. Viggo's Rick, he hates people. He plays this asshole quite well, but he's really good at his job, obviously. And then John is sort of the more like he's down to help, like a drop of a hat. He wants to help out sort of around the world. This is what he does. This is what he wants to get around to. You do see a scene with him and his kid at the start, which is like, where are you off to now, sort of thing. So he's always off somewhere. Very specialized type of rescue, this, which you touched on last week, where or last episode even, where they specialize in this cave diving shit, which and again, they have the Thailand divers come in, they get absolutely fucked up because although they're like extreme divers, they're used to just going straight down, ocean.
Yep.
Extreme. They're not used to the extreme nature of this cave structure and how long it is, which I did not know until watching this movie. I had no idea how long it took them to dive and swim from one end to where the kids were, and it's like 6 to 8 hours or something like that, I think, which is crazy. Fucking insane. And then Joel Edgerton comes in towards the end, and I don't want to spoil everything in case you haven't watched the doco, or it's hard because it's you probably see it on the news, but I didn't know everything until like I'd paid like
you're like me,
I forgot.
And you're like, hey, they came out. That's all
they came out. I was like, hey, the kids got like I saw the headline.
They got under that one barrier.
Yeah.
And we're able to save those kids.
I swear I saw the headline, like, all 13 kids trapped in cave survive. I'm like, cool, moved on with my life. I didn't bother, like, reading what actually happened. Not for the fact that I think is interesting. I was just like, that's cool. Like, nice. Moving on. Anyway, do it. Yeah, I never had, like, such a big interest. But then when I was watching this and how they end up saving the kids, I was like, this is fucking insane. And the way they portray it, I think there's a lot of really well-paced sort of elements of claustrophobia with like thrilling, like the way the tension builds and like you don't know how it's going. I really like the way it's shot, and like they do get that element of those caves being tight and twisty and dark and easily to lose where you are and lose your bearings and all these sorts of things. So I thought that was really good. But overall I think it's definitely worth watching. I think it's surprisingly grounded considering it's Ron Howard and not usually the sort of thing I'd catch him doing. I'd suggest watching it. I did enjoy it.
Awesome. Very exciting. Other big release this weekend on Disney Plus, Prey. The Predator movie set several hundreds of years before the original movie. Everybody's talking about it.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's the most disappointing thing about this movie. Had to watch it at home. And I'll tell you what, this movie has some beautiful cinematography. I think this movie has some of the best cinematography. Maybe not the best. I don't know. Like, I'd have to really think about it, but definitely has some of the best cinematography I've seen all year. It is really stunning, like, use of location and stuff. This is the best Predator movie since Predator. Easily. I mean, the bar's pretty low. to be completely honest, the bar is fucking low. But this brings it back to basics. It is literally one predator, bunch of humans, out in buckfuck nowhere. Main character has to fight to survive. Like that. It's as simple as that. But I think there's an element of, like, I feel like, I don't know if this is bad to say, but I feel like this movie had to have been inspired by The Revenant, or at least it feels like it was inspired by The Revenant. It's like the time period and just like the way it's shot at times and other sorts of things like that. I don't feel like it's as scary as the original Predator. I don't feel like it tries to be either. Like I would call it a thriller. Like I don't feel like it's a horror movie. I feel like a lot of time the predator's there. You're like he's not sneaking up. Like he's just charging at them. Like you see him, so you're thrilled. You're not you're not waiting for a jump scare or anything like that. A bunch of motherfuckers try and fight him at one stage, and they're gonna die, and he proceeds to absolutely fuck them up, and you're like, yep. Well, like you just put on a good fight. I give you that. But the cast is fantastic. What's the main girl's name? Amy Midthunder. She's fantastic. The main character, Naru. Her brother, Dakota Beavers. Tabe, I think it's how you say it. Really cool. Of course, the entire main characters is what's the official Comanche Nation? Yeah, there we are. Comanche Nation. Native Americans. They are really the center points of the movie. You do have white invaders in the movie at one point, I guess and they are at this time definitely white invaders because they're they are not friendly with they're definitely not saving anybody. So seeing them get spoilers fucked up at one point was quite fun to watch. That's quite enjoyable. But yeah, the movie is really fucking good. Like if you enjoy a really good, like very simple action thriller, this is bare bones but done extremely well. No reliance on nostalgia, no reliance on weird cameos, no reliance on stupid callbacks, although there is one, but it's very much for the hardcore and it doesn't affect anything. It's just it's a funny little thing they put at the end of the movie for the really hardcore, I guess. But yeah, it's really the new designer, the Predator, I thought was really cool. I think that's caused a lot of huff puff on the internet with people who like to call them fans who get upset every time there's a new Predator design because they want the Predator to always look like the original Predator for some fucking reason. Anyway, I think the Predator is really cool looking. Some people complain about how the movie ends. I don't think it's dumb at all. I actually like it. I think it's perfectly fine. Of course, there's a bunch of people complaining because the girl's the main character, so you got all these fuckboys complaining about it. Anyway, fuck them. Otherwise, really good. Happily would watch it again. May watch it again before the end of the year because it was a really good, simple watch. I could watch it while sort of potentially doing something else. I got a real kick out of it. And as someone who loved Predator, like growing up, used to be on TV all the time, used to watch Predator a fuck ton, like every time it was on. Love it. In general, I think it's best Predator. Have a lot of love for those, like both those franchises. Have a lot of shitty sequels, but it feels like a big old win to get a W for the Predator franchise, especially with how let down I was by what the fuck was that movie called? The Predators, whatever it's called.
Was it Shane Black?
Yeah, directed by Shane Black. Which love Shane Black. Nah, dog.
Just made the Nice Guy sequel.
No, fuck that. I wish I could have watched this in cinemas instead of that though. So yeah, and he should have made Nice Guy sequel. So no, I highly suggest watching it. It's really weird that I had to go onto Disney Plus to watch this, but I don't think you would like it. I don't feel like it's too. I definitely feel like I'm the.
No, like, it definitely doesn't sound like it's a horror movie, but it seems like it's more of an action.
Yeah, it's an action thriller. Like I feel like you would. I feel like you could enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen to. Of course, it's just been a crazy weekend.
You've had a hectic weekend.
Weekend. I haven't been able to watch as much as I would have liked because there's been a ton of stuff that's come out in like the last 14 days. It's been difficult. So yes. So.
Oh, that was the thing I saw that I might do when I rewatch. I didn't realize this after I watched it. I saw Dan Trachtenberg tweet out that you can watch it dubbed in
Comanche.
Comanche. Is that how you say that? Yeah, I was like, I can't remember if that's the. Yeah. You can watch it dubbed. I was like, that's fucking sweet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I read somewhere that they like filmed every scene twice. Like,
did they?
But
if
I'm
so,
not.
that's insane.
I don't know if that's true or not. That I don't think they may have just come back and dubbed the movie over. You know what I mean? Which is still impressive, but it would have been cooler if like. I
understand why. The thing is like trying to get a wider audience. They have them speaking English.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I don't know if this counts as a spoiler or not, is that it's implied they're not, and you can just understand them. And by them I mean the Comanche Nation. But because when you get to the white characters in the movie, they're ineligible.
Oh.
So she can't understand them. Apart from one character who tries to speak to her, and he's obviously translating. But he's speaking English when he's translating to her, and then he speaks gibberish.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if it's supposed to be another language and I'm completely missing it, but it didn't actually sound like any language. And if so, if it is language, fuck me. They're doing a terrible job. Like, if they're like, Dylan, it was French. I'm like, didn't sound like French to me. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah. Prey, available now to stream on Disney+. All right. Paper Girls, the new series debuted on Prime Video. From all the trailers, people have been just talking about it being like Stranger Things, the properties like that. Of course, this is based on the comic book series by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang, I want to say. I'm not 100%. Let me just double check that.
Definitely got the BKV part,
yes.
But I don't remember the artist.
Yes, Cliff Chang. Nailed it. I only watched the first few episodes, but Dylan, you've watched the entire season.
Did it drop?
It dropped all at once, which was surprising to me.
It was weird, hey? Crazy.
But yeah, Dylan, what do you think of Paper Girls?
I really enjoyed it. I feel like the Stranger Things comparison is it's funny because the first issue of the comic I think was coming out like slightly prior or around the same time that Netflix's Stranger Things started. So there's no it's just like, and again the comparison is simply young kid cast or whatever, sci-fi elements.
They ride bikes.
80s. They ride bikes, yeah. They do indeed ride bikes, but they are paper girls, not so they have, they have to ride the bikes. Anyway, the plot for people who don't know is literally they're out on like this paper route. One of them gets picked on, gets saved. They like think shit's going fucking weird. They try and chase some people down or something. Anyway, they're like, oh shit, we go back to her home. They go back to one of the girls' home. Someone's in a house. Well, it's not actually someone, it's herself. They've traveled in time to the future somehow. Crazy. How'd that happen? Don't know. Anyway, you've got this other group of people that are they're like the time police, I guess, who are trying to put a stop to any time travelers. And then you've got this other group of people who are trying to time travel to improve the world, but the other group of people don't want the time travel to happen. They don't want the world to improve because they're basically, I don't know, I feel like the entire plot of this series is literally just about like capitalism. Like you've got a group of people who are like very rich apparently in the future and they've got everything they need, and then the time travel's invented and the poor people and everyone doing horrible is like, man, we can use time travel to improve the world. And they're like, nah, fuck that, because there's a chance that our world gets shittier. And they're like, well, yeah, but what if it just gets a little bit shittier? And they're like, nah, fuck y'all. So we're out. So I think that's about the plot. Really enjoyed it though. Cast is fantastic. Music's really cool. Pacing is fine. I feel like at times there's like a few episodes that sort of stretches out a bit too long or a little bit longer than it needs. But otherwise, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Would be keen to see how everyone feels come the season finale, because I was a bit like, whoa, I don't know how far into the comic book this is, but what a twist. What a twisty.
Yeah, I've only caught the first 3 or 4 episodes. I found it, it's enjoyable, but it's not like pulling me in completely. I found the Mac character like very annoying, which I think is kind of the purpose.
Is that the dude? I forget all the character's name. Like the
Mac,
main guy?
the tomboy.
No, huh?
The one who meets her brother in the future.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think she's meant to be annoying at the start because, she's very...
Yeah, she's meant to be.
Yeah. So...
She has an arc.
I'm sure she does, so... yeah, add that to the list of things that I do want to catch up on. So, yeah, Paper Girls available now on Prime Video. All 8 episodes. Does it leave it open for a second season? I assume it does.
100%. Really, and yeah, very interesting way the season ends.
All right. So I've been watching The Resort, which is currently over on Stan. This is a new series starring William Jackson Harper and Kristen Milotti, in which they play a married couple who are going, who went to a trip to a resort in the Mayan Riviera, which is in Mexico. So they go there. They're having shit. They're kind of like in that time period where they're not sure if they want to stick together or whatever. At least Kristen Milotti's character, she seems like she's not really interested in, they're kind of going through the motions a little bit. She comes off her quad bike during like one of the resort activities and finds a old Razor flip phone. She becomes very interested in this flip phone, wants to find out who it belongs to the point where she spends way too much money to buy a secondhand Razor flip phone to put the old SIM card into, which is the thing that could actually happen despite what comments I've seen online. All these young people like, oh, she put, there's no way a SIM card would work in an old phone like that. Nah, old SIM cards, they live forever. But yeah, turns out this phone belongs to a kid who disappeared 15 years ago at a nearby resort. So Chris Malot's character decides she's going to figure out what happened to this kid, who was behind it all, and slowly the mystery kind of to unravel. It's also very much told in split timelines. You very, very much go back in time and follow Sam, who's the kid. For maybe I think it's even greater than a 50-50 split, like each episode, as to who you're focused on. At least so far, it's like mostly set in the past, but I'm really enjoying it. William Jackson Harper and Chris Melotti have great chemistry. I'm really enjoying to see how this mystery is kind of unfolding. There's a really good ensemble cast. I know the other big name on the cast is Nick Offerman, who plays this girl that Sam's met at the hotel. Girl, like, not his girlfriend, but, someone that he met at the hotel, who also goes missing. That's the big thing. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's like very funny. It's very amusing. But the mystery, I think, is quite interesting going forward. It's like all these layers, and this latest episode, like, had this massive revelation or like cliffhanger ending. Yeah, pretty crazy. I'm really enjoying it. So the first 4 episodes are out right now. It's a mini series. You can just watch it, and it'll be one and done. I think it's pretty great. So I would recommend check it out.
That's what they said about the last hotel show I watched. And they're bringing that back for another season. That's
true. So, Resort 2 Electric Boogaloo coming soon, maybe.
That's right.
Alright. Dylan, you checked out a new animated film that came to Apple TV Plus. Luck.
Yeah, so this is a fuck, I can't remember. Skydance in animation, I think that's it, right? Maybe.
That sounds right.
The plot of this is interesting. The movie totally gets lost in itself to the point it was just a little bit too confuddled, I think, even like especially for a kids movie. But the basic premise is that the main character is super unlucky. One day she's like chilling out in the sandwich, and then this cat drops the lucky coin, which, that's how it happens. She picks it up. She realizes it's lucky because when she goes home, as she's holding the coin, everything just like that lucky could happen. So she throws toast up in the air, lands perfectly on a plate. Puts the coin down, throws toast up in the air, lands on her face. There she knows. And she's very unlucky. The movie, for the first 5 minutes, just shows you how unlucky of a person she is. Like everything that could go wrong. Little stereotypical lucky things. Like, she can't find 2 socks that are the same. Like all these sorts of small nuances that we have in our lives. Anyway, so she loses the coin one day by accident because she puts it down somewhere while she goes to the toilet, and then she accidentally flushes it down a toilet, and then she goes back and she's like chilling out being sad, and then that cat comes back and she's like saying to the cat, she's like, oh, I found this coin after you left. Yes, so, but I accidentally flushed it down the toilet, and then the cat speaks and it's like, you did what? And the cat's Scottish for some reason, and then the cat's like, oh, you motherfucker, and then the cat runs off and opens a secret portal, and he doesn't realize that she's watching. So she jumps into the portal, and she's traveled to the Land of Luck, which is a big place where there's 2 sides, and on one side it's like a factory where people are working on sending bad luck juices to the human world, and the other side they're making good luck juices. And there's people that design things like you smelled it, dealt it, or oh no, I dragged shit into the lounge room, or I don't know, all these weird areas, they're working on bad luck things. So she's trying to find a way to get a coin, because the whole plot of the movie is that she basically she's an orphan who turned 18 at the start of the movie and moves out of the orphanage. But her, like, she has like a little girl that she's like really good friends with, and she wants this coin because she wants to give it to her so she can have good luck on getting a family, like be able to get out, like and find a forever family, which she wasn't. So she teams up with the cat. The cat's voiced by Simon Pegg. There's a bunch of random characters in it: dragon, unicorn. Unicorn's quite funny. A bunch of weird things, but the movie gets very confusing at one point. And I was like, this thing and this thing and all. Anyway, it goes a bit too long. I think it's like nearly 2 hours. I was like, this seems a bit too long, but it has a lot of cool ideas. Animation's fun. Cat's fun. Cool premise. It's a solid okay out of 10.
All right. Also want to talk about Players, the series on Paramount Plus, from the team that brought you American Vandal. It follows a season amongst the League of Legends American split or whatever it's called. I don't know. Following
LCS.
Fiction, yes. Following fictional team Fnatic. No,
that's a real team.
Following their fictional team.
What the fuck is their team? It's like some word he says all the time.
Renegade? No.
Something like that, but I can't remember.
Oh, this is gonna.
Fnatic is a real team, though.
No, that's not a real team. No.
Yes, it is.
Fugitive.
You're gonna find it. There we go.
I knew it started with an F. I talked about it when it first came out. This show has been like a weekly thing that I need to watch as soon as I possibly can. Of course, it's like this documentary show, but it definitely feels like a sports documentary and feels like you're getting a full story. Ended episode 9 on like kind of a cliffhanger. Episode 10, like fantastic. Went in ways I was not expecting, but I appreciated it. Definitely one of the best shows I've watched this year, I think. Even though I don't think it's as funny as American Vandal, but it is. I think it might have more heart than American Vandal had. And it definitely clearly setting up a potential season 2, and I'm all for it. Yeah. What do you think, Dylan? You're someone who kind of binged it right towards the end.
What I caught up last week, I think, and then watched this week's finale as it came out. Or last week, whenever it was. I thought it was very good. I was surprised at how much heart was in this by the end and how much like heartfelt moments it had. I feel like the first maybe 3 episodes is just nothing but jokes. And then from there they start introducing a bit more heart into the story and making the characters not so one-dimensional, especially Cream Cheese by the end, because at the start he's just mega douche and I don't think you're supposed to like him at all. And of course, like the whole point is they slowly have these scenes where you begin to peel away layers of him and understand there's more to him than just mega douche, like because really that's all he is. I feel like I appreciate it from multiple angles though. So as a fake documentary sports thing, it's done really, really well. As a straight up comedy, there's lots of really I feel like there's some really cringe comedy in here, which I know you love. So, but there is a fair few like cringe comedy bits that are quite funny. But then also like as someone who likes League of Legends and like still watches stuff every now and then, especially Worlds and stuff like that. And of course used to play League of Legends quite a bit. All the League stuff is like pretty like nearly all spot on. I managed to find one part where I was like, that was definitely not like this. There was a dumb line I heard once where I was like, that's not actually correct. But otherwise, everything else is totally spot on. And I feel like they got, what episode was it? I can't remember. Fuck. Maybe it was episode 9 or 8, whatever one they like have the big tournament moment. And that was like a big set piece of the episode. And like the majority of the episode was actually based on the match. They actually built such a like tension and pace to those, like they go to best out of 5 or whatever, like, and everything like that. They go to game 3 or whatever. But I was like watching it like, holy shit, like I'm actually watching this like I would like a sports movie thing, like he's going to do it, it's like, sort of thing. I thought like that was done really, really well as well. And I don't feel like, and you're the best testament to this, I don't feel like you have to like League of Legends to watch this, the same as you don't like the best movie about like soccer or fucking basketball or whatever, you wouldn't have to like or fully understand those sports to enjoy those movies either. I feel like this definitely fits into the thing of, although League of Legends is the setting, it's not, you don't need to love it or fully understand it to get this. In fact, the show does a good job in those first couple episodes of introducing the basics of League of Legends, if you don't know it, which is 2 teams, couple lanes, winner's the person who kills the Nexus. And that's kind of all you need to know to understand. There are little things and references you'll miss, the same as I'm sure there's little things and nuances I miss watching a movie about basketball or some other fucking sport I don't fully understand. But that's fine. I don't feel like that's the end of the world. Yeah.
No, yeah, they definitely did a good job of explaining what they needed to, and then being able to create, especially episode 9, like you said, creating those moments. Like, there's a moment where it's like I think it's base race is the term that they used. And like,
that's it. They do a base race, and it was, and as someone who's done base races, like in games, like that's a thing. It's like, and I've been playing with people. So, cause I did like a League of Legends, I actually did like a team tournament for like a year where I was like practicing scrimming, and we did a tournament like against other teams around Australia and stuff like this, right? And I did a base race in one of those tournaments, and you're yelling at, like, I'm in this thing, like yelling at everyone, like, no, don't go back, don't, you know, like all this sort of shit. So like, I was like, I totally understand this. And like, I've seen base races and that shit was intense. Like the way they paced that and done it, I was like, this is so good. I reckon that's probably one of my favorite scenes of any TV show I watched this year is that base race. Like, no, I'm not even fucking around. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed the organism growth over the season. And then how it ends for that character is like kind of crazy. But then also perfectly what you expect.
And by the way, without spoilers, because I want people to watch it, that's a real thing people do, what he does. 100% real. That is a thing that people will do if they want to. As he does, he wants to be the best in the world. That is a thing that people have done. Do that.
Okay. Interesting. Is the Lulu, is the cat thing in the last episode, is that like very unexpected?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That was realistic.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah. So check out Players on Disney Plus. Oh no, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Not a great name for a show, to be honest. Hard for SEO.
Yeah, it's a very boring name, and I wanted to tweet something the other day saying it was really good or something like that or whatever, and I was looking for a nice GIF to put with it, but type in Players and I got nothing.
No. I do want to get Fugitive Match though. I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix app in the show. All right, I've managed to watch the first 2 episodes of The Sandman, the new series. Based on the comic book series written by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's involved. I believe it's him, David S. Goyer, and Alan Heinberg. Both of them very much TV veterans. Neil Gaiman directly involved. He has a handprints all over this. This show is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it so far. It looks really good. Even though, like, obviously, there's a very much fantastical element of it, where it's clearly all CGI sets. I think it looks visually very impressive. It follows Morpheus of the Endless, who is like a kind of greater being than like a god. He's kind of in charge of dreams and the dreaming, but he inadvertently gets captured in the early 19th century. He's captured for 100 years. Spoilers for the first episode, I guess. He gets out, and he has to like kind of he has to rectify everything that's kind of happened in his 100-year absence. Yeah, it looks great. I would recommend checking it out. I know Kieran's been watching it and is very, very happy about it, saying episode 6 might be one of the best episodes of television he's ever watched.
He only watches anime though, so I really don't know if that like
how that stacks up. Like, yeah,
how that stacks up.
Has he watched Players?
Show I've ever watched.
So
yeah, exactly. Has he watched Better Call Saul? No, he hasn't.
No opinion. How many episodes left?
Just 2.
So to talk about the next episode, you know.
Fuck.
You know?
Oh.
But yeah, I'm really digging it. I think who was it? Is it Jim Sturgis?
Yeah, that's a person.
Is it the right person?
I don't
Tom
know,
Sturridge.
definitely is a person.
Tom Sturridge.
Okay.
Who plays Morpheus. Fantastic. He's got his great voice for it. And yeah, very excited. Justice for Gregory. Yeah, check out The Sandman on Netflix. And then I also watched The Most Hated Man on the Internet.
So do.
Did you? Okay, good.
Did I forget to check in?
Okay.
Maybe I did. Maybe I forgot to check in. My bad.
Or maybe I'll make sure that we're talking about the same person, right? We're talking to Hunter Moore,
Porn dude,
who ran the website Is Anyone Up?
Yep.
During the early, I want to say, 2010s? Yep. Which effectively was a revenge porn site.
Yep.
And this story is kind of crazy, in which a mother of one of the victims brought this media figure who was kind of thought himself untouchable down over the course of a year or two. So yeah, this kind of chronicles the events of like what kind of led up to it, how he kind of grew in notoriety, and then his eventual undoing and that kind of stuff. Especially I think the biggest problem was that at the time there was no revenge porn laws or stuff like that. There was, and it very much goes to show how far I guess how much it feels like we've gone forward, where at the time a lot of these people were being victim blamed and like, why are you putting these photos and stuff out there if you don't want other people to see them? It's your own fault and that kind of stuff. Whereas I feel like most of the time we feel like that doesn't happen as much. But fascinating story, even though Hunter Moore is a piece of trash and, deserved worse. But I think they told the story very well and, justified their 3-episode length. But yeah, Dylan, what do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I feel like as a documentary, it doesn't like go sort of far enough down like the potential psychological hole that I feel like would be a really interesting angle. And instead, just goes for more of a justice storyline, like following, like treating the mother, whatever her name is,
Charlotte Falls.
there you go. Who's actually a like celebrity break-in person, but
yes,
that's a whole different
that
thing.
was the funniest thing.
Which when they played that clip, I'm like, I've seen this clip before. Like, I know who this person is. Like, well, I didn't recognize her, but I'm like, now that I've seen that clip, I know, like, I know who you are, which is weird.
Yeah.
But, so they make sort of her the hero of the story. So that's the direction they went. I don't feel like it's as potentially like deep diving documentary as I potentially would have liked for this, because I feel like there's definitely something like sort of disturbing about this dude. Something deep within there, because he just has absolutely no remorse, and the way he talks and all this sort of thing. Like, I just feel like there's something really off with him, like something wrong. But as far as 3 episodes, I feel like was perfect. It definitely did overstay its welcome. And then I just sort of happily binged it here one night. I pressed play thinking I'll just watch 1 episode and ended up watching all 3 and then being tired the next morning. But, that proves it was a good series, I guess.
Yeah.
So, super interesting period of like, I guess, wild west of the internet where, like there was less laws, there was less ways for people like this to get in trouble, less, rules and regulations. Now for, shit like this, you have to travel to the dark web and whatever else, but
4chan or whatever.
Yeah, 4chan and shit like that. So, interesting, fucked up, disturbing at times.
Especially like the footage of the quotations, the family, like some of the shit they were doing.
Yeah, there's his group of fans obsessed with him and stuff. So, the stuff he makes that one girl do, and then the fact like, she's like, and look, I'm all for it. She's like, I took this as an opportunity because I could use like his platform to get famous for, like, she wanted to do porn. I was like, all right, more power to you. But the fact that like he tricks her and like
screen
records her without her knowing and all this, that's where it gets like, that's.
And then the fucked up thing is that like at the end she's kind of sad that it's all over.
Yeah, it's like, there's lots of interesting people.
I think the only thing is like, I would think I would have liked more of his his ex-girlfriend, like, threaded through the series, because the entire time I was thinking, why the fuck are you with this dude who constantly is talking about fucking other women?
Yeah, at some stage she's like, oh, no, I never realized he was like a bad guy. I'm like, yeah, but fucking how? You know, like literally how? I have no idea. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, but yes. Most hated man on the internet.
Yeah, I feel like the title's actually
it's pretty accurate.
Not the most hated man. No, I feel like there's definitely more people
at the time.
Joe Schmo on the internet has no idea who this dude is, but yeah. At the time, sure, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah, and good came of it. You know, revenge porn laws have kind of been enacted all over the world since. So, you know,
what's even worse is it wasn't like it wasn't people uploading. Half of it wasn't. Yeah, that's
that's the other thing. Yeah, not to spoil it, but you know, there was more than just people uploading. Interesting, but terrible. All right, that's everything that we've been watching this week. Let's move into the film news. And there's one story that's kind of blown up all week. It started, I want to say, Wednesday or Thursday morning, when completely out of the blue, Batgirl, a movie that was announced, was coming to HBO Max. It was announced as a premium streaming movie. $90 million spent on it. Leslie Grace from In the Heights, set to play Barbara Gordon. J.K. Simmons is on the cast. Michael Keaton was coming back. Brendan Fraser was playing the
Firefly.
Was playing the villain.
The Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? The two directors, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, who obviously were coming off the huge success of Bad Boys for Life, which was one of the highest grossing movies of 2020. Directing.
And a good movie, surprisingly.
Yes.
Surprisingly
a good movie.
So help me get more excited for this.
Yes. People were interested. HBO, it was announced that it was being cancelled completely. It was completely shot. They were in post-production. But no, Warner Brothers Discovery decided they were going to cancel the movie. Yeah, it must have been Wednesday morning, because that's when I was posting a number of different memes. Because the story seemed crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you cancel a movie that's already been shot and not do anything with it?
Yep.
Yeah. It also turned out that they didn't stop there. They also cancelled the Scoob prequel, I guess is the technical term, because it's animated holiday movie set around the Scooby-Doo characters, but younger, solving some sort of mystery. Again, almost completely animated. People spent 4+ years working on this movie. And now it's never going to see the light of day. Apparently, they've both been cancelled as part of tax write-offs due to the being able to do that in the first year of the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery. They figured, we'll put this off as a tax write-off. We'll make more money than we would have putting on a streaming service.
Yep.
What was your reaction? Because my reaction was, this is dumb and sad.
Yeah, my reaction was, this is dumb, because they both look like things I would have wanted to watch. Especially the Batgirl. I was sort of looking forward to the Batgirl movie. I was sort of trepidatious about the casting, not because, nothing against Leslie. What's her name?
Leslie Grace.
Grace. Nothing against her. I just I didn't fully see it, but I was ready to see it. But the rest of the cast I was totally all aboard of, and the directors I thought were interesting picks, and was keen to see what they were going to do. And I was totally aboard Brendan Fraser as the bad guy. That was sort of the thing I was most looking forward to, be completely honest. But yeah, dumb. I mean, look, this is them not hiding the fact that at the end of the day, big old business wants to make money, and every decision they've made so far, and then the stuff they continue with the following days when they did the next stream or whatever.
They had a financial quarter
financial report thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Where they had two, like, my favorite graph was just the HBO Max targeted at boys and then Discovery Plus targeted at girls. I was like, oh yes, which is the two genders. That's so dumb. Like there's just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. This amongst everything else where they're like, yeah, we're just, look, part of me is like, they're like, we want to treat serious more like a thing. I'm like, that sounds great. But also, like, why not just, like, if you want to move back to making big movies and put less focus into HBO Max, like, I'm sort of all for that, to be honest. But just put out the stuff that was already going to come out first. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's crazy that Warner Brothers 2019 thought of as a place for filmmakers, a positive place where people could get stuff made. In the space of 3 years, they completely shat all over that idea around that company. Of course, it was the first, them dropping all their entire 2021 slate on HBO Max at launch. That got to the extent where Christopher Nolan is now making a movie at a rival studio for the first time in his career.
Yeah. You know it's bad when you push your big guy, Christopher Nolan,
elsewhere.
Out.
And now you're going to cancel a movie that's already been shot.
Yeah.
And never to be, because as part of it being a tax write-off, they can never release it for money.
Yeah.
So they can't like sell it to another streamer. They can't just stick it on a digital play store.
They can release it for free.
Yeah, they could.
But they won't.
They won't.
But just to clarify, is there a chance we can see it? 0.1%. It's not zero because
there's only two ways that it could happen.
Yeah.
One,
yeah.
they do release it for free because they can as some sort of promotional event. It's like, hey, for one day only, you can watch it for free on something.
Yeah.
2,
YouTube no ads.
It leaks.
It leaks, yeah. And by God, I tell you what, I'm going to admit it right now. Your boy's going to be watching Batgirl somewhere or another if that shit leaks. I ain't going to say how, but I will be strapped to a chair, unwilling to look away. I don't know how it happened to get on the screen, but crazy.
Man, imagine if Batgirl was the most haunted.
Break any and all code of honor I had at that point. Who the fuck am I stealing from?
Literally nobody. They've already got their money.
Yeah,
so,
literally. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know how you come back from why would anybody want to work for you again? Anybody who already has a reputation and has credibility as a filmmaker, why would they want to work for Warner Brothers at the moment? If that's something they could do for tax purposes, I think it's just pretty gross and a very short-sighted decision. I think as soon as this report came out, somebody at, I want to say Deadline, got a rival executive who went, this is shit's crazy. Yeah. Unprecedented kind of stuff. Stuff that does not happen in Hollywood. But if you David Zaslav, no, who cares? The new CEO.
I know. Yes.
The new CEO of Warner Discovery, who was definitely from the Discovery side. If you've read about him at all in the past week, is not a good... is definitely a business-sided person. I think the story that kind of stuck with me was he was kind of berating... He was questioning the previous Warner Brothers executives as to why they made Cry Macho, the Clint Eastwood film about an old dude. They knew it wasn't going to make money. They asked why they made it, and they said they had the old WB executives said they kind of wanted to honor his 50-year commitment to the studio. And he quoted Jerry Maguire and said, "This is show business, not friends business." So I think that kind of sums up this person. Yeah, it's kind of... It's crazy, and obviously that earnings call kind of got way more attention than probably your usual earnings call would get, including, of course, the notorious slide. The slide being put out there because they're planning to merge Discovery Plus, a service that nobody has heard of, and HBO Max. Arguably the best service available to a United States resident or anybody with a VPN who wants to do that. It's kind of crazy that, again, they're going to rebrand their streaming service, especially when they killed all their goodwill with all those filmmakers by putting all those movies on HBO Max originally. They're also set to cut a lot of spending on HBO Max, so people are very concerned about all of the HBO Max originals, shows like Peacemaker and Our Flag Means Death, and Just Like That, and other shows of those ilk. Like various creators are not 100% sure. I think James Gunn came out and said not to worry. There is the potential that a lot of the stuff could move to HBO proper. But and they're going to be doubling down on HBO as a service, so maybe we'll get more than just the one show running for 10 weeks. Maybe they'll have 2 shows for every 10 weeks. But maybe it just won't be Sunday programming. They'll have more. But yeah, this is another, again, seismic shift. And again, they've come out and said, hey, we've got a 10-year plan. We were going to have the 10-year plan for DC comic films. We're not going to put out films unless they are, we really believe in them. And that's why we cancel Batgirl. They've still not telling us what they're planning to do with The Flash. It's still on the slate.
Coming out still, apparently, even though their star will not be on the red carpet, because he'll get arrested. That's one thing. He'll get arrested on the red carpet.
He'll get arrested on the red carpet. He'll get subpoenaed several times.
Yeah.
He'll get served a lot. It just seems like crazy that one of the biggest media companies in the world just doesn't know what they're doing. Or they know what they're doing, it's just nobody likes what they're doing.
Yep. Yep, that sounds about right.
Alright. They did confirm, at least, the Joker movie, Joker 2 is coming.
Can't wait.
Lady Gaga is going to play Harley Quinn.
Super excited.
You being serious or not?
No, it's definitely seriousness. I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. That's kind of all the news that I've kind of got. I mean, the other thing was apparently a lot of the streaming exclusive movies that they had for HBO Max had been pulled from the service. Even series like Vinyl apparently was pulled. So really, you've got nowhere to play because none of these get physical releases. There's nowhere to watch this anymore legally. So I would once again reiterate: physical media, please. Let it live forever. Very important. I guess the other thing that was interesting was they kind of said, hey, we've lost X amount of billions of dollars on the streaming service this year. Do you think we're at a point where, the streaming, we all thought Netflix was the future. Is Netflix still the future? Is a streaming only media financial plan feasible?
It is the future because that's how stuff's going to go. But I don't know.
Is it if it's not sustainable?
It is. I feel like it's sustainable. It just depends how much money you're putting into it and how you're going about it. There's you know what I mean? I feel like spending $90 million on a Batgirl movie for HBO Max was a bad decision. I feel like spending $90 million to put that movie in the cinemas is a good decision.
That's true.
See what I'm saying?
I do. As they said, you'd probably need to spend another $90 million marketing it to justify.
So they say.
It out. Yeah.
this whole marketing thing, that it's like, so if a movie costs 90 million, literally take that. That's how much you have to spend for marketing. If the entire budget of a movie is 100 million, then I think they say, you know, like 50 million's marketing. You know, 50 million's left to make the movie. I feel like this is an archaic system that Hollywood's got itself into, where they think they need that much for marketing, and someone needs to eventually break the hold on that, because it's absolutely insanity. In a world like today, I just don't. I don't see it. I just don't. I like, just fucking do it. I guarantee you don't need to spend that much money on marketing. Not for a comic book movie. I just don't think that's true. Do you need to? It's like, you know, when they spend so much money on marketing Star Wars, I'm like, do you need to spend that much money on marketing a fucking Star Wars movie?
Yeah, because otherwise Solo happens.
How's that have anything to do with the market? No, that's...
The marketing of that movie was a trash.
Yeah, but they spent the money on it. It doesn't matter, like, if the trailers and stuff are good or bad or whatever.
I don't know. I know. I think maybe we're reaching a point where it's like, we've got a question. Like, is this sustainable? Obviously, we had Netflix, like, shedding a lot of customers. You know, Peacock came out and said they're losing a bunch of money. Paramount Plus has said they're losing a bunch of money on the streaming service. You know, so maybe it's a case of we won't get only exclusive. Maybe, hopefully, it leads to the point where, you know, they will release physical editions of stuff that we want. They will finally put out a 4K Blu-ray of Roma and
oh, don't even tease me.
And Coda, you know. So there's no way they can ever be pulled. But yeah, that's an interesting side story that kind of got brushed over from the big news of all the crazy moves they've been making this week. So yeah. Let's move into thumbs for trailers this week. Of course, you can find all the trailers that we're about to talk about in the show notes. But let's kick things off. First trailer for this week is Blonde, directed by Andrew Dominic, starring Ana de Armas, Adrian Brody, Bobby Cannavale, Xavier Samuel, and Julianne Nicholson, based on the best-selling novel by Joyce Carol Oates. Blonde boldly reimagines the life of one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, Marilyn Monroe, from a volatile childhood as Norma Jean through to her rise to stardom and romantic entanglements. Blonde blurs the lines of fact and fiction to explore the widening split between her public and private selves. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for Blonde?
Double thumbs up. Ana de Armas looks great. She definitely looks like Marilyn Monroe. Thematically, the movie looks super intriguing with it's not going for the glitz and glamour. It's going for the, you know, the dark side, the untold history, sort of the side of this person you've never seen. I love the subtitle of, what was it? Like, we all watched her, but no one saw her, or like something. I can't remember, like something like that in the middle of the trailer, which I thought was really cool. Really excited. Like, is it Andrew Dominic?
Yes.
It. Yeah. He's really great. Shout out to Australia, by the way. But he's also,
he didn't direct Australia.
No, he's Australian though. I think I read an interview of him or listened to something with him like a couple months back where he was like, oh, this movie, like, it's going to be, like, he was saying, like, initially it was like 4 hours long, and he was talking about like making it and how, like, he takes forever to make movies, and, you know, he reckons that people who make movies too fast
was
bad
the
movies,
assassination of Jesse James by the coward
Robert Ford.
That's it. There was a 4-hour cut of that movie.
Yeah, that doesn't,
and it was very difficult to.
Yeah,
he had a lot of troubles.
Yeah. He's a very interesting, and you can tell listening to him, he's also a very opinionated director in person, which means his movies definitely have a style and I don't like. So yeah, I'm super interested. Like, he's the word's wanky as fuck, but he's definitely like an auteur as far as like filmmakers go. I definitely feel so. Very interested in watching this.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. I think Ana de Armas looks like Marilyn Monroe. I don't think I've ever seen a Marilyn Monroe film movie, but obviously you're familiar with the imagery, especially like the images that they show in this trailer of like her with the skirt and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, even though this is a completely fictionalized retelling of her life. To be clear, her estate is not involved at all. It'd be interesting to learn more about her, even in this fictionalized way. Yeah, I'm keen to check it out. Of course, there's been a lot of things that, Andrew Dominic has come out and said everybody's going to hate this movie and stuff like that. It is rated NC-17 in America, which is, I guess, the equivalent of an MA 15 plus or an R here in Australia.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would force that on a streaming service. Or, I don't even think the ratings come up at the start of the movie.
Well, I don't know, because that was the other thing in the interview I read or listened to, I can't remember, but he was saying, like, he was hyping up Netflix, saying that no one else was willing to let him do this project after reading the script, but Netflix was the only one, or, some shit like that, so, yeah.
So, yeah. So this is releasing on Netflix September 23rd. Alright. Next trailer. Pinocchio, directed by Guillermo del Toro and Mark Gustafsson. Starring Ewan McGregor, David Bradley, Gregory Mann, Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, no, that's right, John Turturro, Ron Perlman, Tim Blake Nelson, Bern Gorman, Christoph Waltz, and Tilda Swinton. Academy Award-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro reinvents Carlo Collodi's classic tale of a wooden marionette who is magically brought to life in order to mend the heart of a grieving woodcarver named Geppetto. This whimsical stop-motion musical follows the mischievous and disobedient adventures of Pinocchio in his pursuit of a place in the world. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer?
Yeah. One up, one down. It was like a teaser, though, wasn't it? I mean, I guess.
I get.
Like, yeah, I like the animation style. It's Pinocchio. Like, I'm not neither in love with or hate like Pinocchio's story. I'm definitely more interested in this than the Disney one. Which, shout outs, by the way, I think when I saw this trailer first uploaded, it had like starring Tom Hanks and all this stuff. I'm like, you've got the wrong cast for the wrong Pinocchio movie. I think it was on the Rotten Tomatoes like YouTube trailers channel as well. So someone just grabbed the wrong like details. So I thought that was funny. But no, I am I like the style. Obviously, I really like Guillermo del Toro. Don't know how dark it'll go, but we'll see. I like the voice cast. Everyone sounds good. I'll go one up, one down.
Yeah, I'm also one up, one down. I think this was well put together, even though, it looks interesting. The stop motion animation looks really good. But yeah, I think this was more of a teaser, but yeah, it's fine. It seems like it's going to be a Del Toro-esque retelling, even though there's no weird monsters and stuff, I guess, other than
that
Pinocchio.
you know of.
That I know of.
That whale's going to have fucked up shit inside it. I'll tell you right now. Absolute monsters.
I mean, that's if it even is going that direction. So, yeah, crazy. Apparently, there's already been one Pinocchio movie that's coming out this year. Of course, there's the Disney version as well, and then there's this version.
What one came out? Like a foreign language one?
Yeah, there was like a Russian one that became like a massive meme this year.
Right.
So,
Pinocchio's year.
It is the year of Pinocchio. Shout out to wooden boys everywhere. So yes, this is coming to Netflix in December. Next trailer, we have Pearl, directed by Ty West, starring Mia Goth, David Corn Sweat, Tandy Wright, Matthew Sutherland, and Emma Jenkins Puro. Filmmaker Ty West returns with another chapter of the twisted world of X in this astonishing follow-up to the year's most acclaimed horror film. Trapped on her family's isolated farm, Pearl must tend to her ailing father under the bitter and overbearing watch of a devout mother. Lusting for a glamorous life she's seen in the movies, Pearl's ambitions, temptations, and repressions all collide in the stunning Technicolor-inspired origin story of X's iconic villain. I thought this was a really interesting looking trailer, definitely evoking early, like, 1920s, I guess, movies with, like, the Technicolor look of it all. As someone who has not watched X, I think it is a good trailer. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. But Dylan, why should people care about Pearl, and did you like the trailer?
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. I'm really excited to watch this. I really liked X, obviously, early in the year. I think the best thing about this is just the origin story and the fact that it looks so different to X. I think that's like such a good use of time and like filmmaking skill and technique, I guess, because X, Ty gets locked down 2 weeks, goes to New Zealand to film it, 2 weeks locked down, decides to write a script for this movie. Like, it's like, hey, does everyone else want to film this while we're here? Yeah, sure, sounds great. So let's just do that. They use a lot of the same locations. I think some of the core cast from X are in this as like supporting roles as different characters and stuff like that. And then they've got other people to come along and do it as well. But the fact that X is primarily set at nighttime, has a 80s like Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired like aesthetic, and it's sort of like that grungy grindhouse feel to it, and then you switch it to this where the movie is purposely very bright, colorful, complete, because like Pearl's this character who wants to be in the Hollywood movies. She wants to be this big star. Like it's just like a complete change of look, and like shows that Ty has these sort of multifaceted way of making his horror movies and not just doing one thing literally the same exact way, which I think is really cool. And I've seen interviews where he's talked about X and this like months back. He's talking about like potentially doing more movies in this universe and stuff like that he's building. I don't know how he builds out, but I don't know. Like if you'd asked me how he was making a prequel to X, I'd be like, don't know how he's doing that. But yeah, this all adds up, makes sense. So Mia Goth back, lead in both movies, really good. Looks fantastic in this. Lots of like just the way she's playing the character, completely different to the character she plays in X, which is really cool as well. So I'm very excited to see this next year when I can rent it off iTunes. Double thumbs up.
Yes, so it is coming to the US September 16th, 2022. There is no Australian release date, and there's definitely no Tasmanian release date. Or Launceston release date, so yeah. Next trailer, Lost Ollie, created by Shannon Tyndall, starring Kessler Talbot, Gina Rodriguez, Jake Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson, Mary J. Blige, and Jonathan Groff. Lost Ollie is an epic adventure about a lost toy who braves the many dangers of childhood as he searches the countryside to reunite with a boy who lost him, and the story of a boy who lost more than a best friend. It's a heartwarming tale of a child in all of us remembering those special souls that we've lost, but who have forever changed our lives. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Lost Ollie?
That looks really good. Hey, it's like Toy Story, but live action.
Yeah, it's like some sort of Toy Story.
Yep, some sort of Toy Story got happening out here. Looks heartwarming, obviously, a charming story. But the thing I was most impressed with is I just thought all the dolls and stuff looked really good, like the CGI, and like they got like a lot of fine details on them. Looked super realistic, like brought into the world real. All that's like they look really really good. So thought that was cool, funny, charming. Double thumbs up. I don't know. I want to watch it.
Yeah, this is a double thumbs up for me as well. As something that on the idea of like a lost toy that wants to find its owner again. I've seen Toy Story. I only needed to watch another one of those. Watch this trailer. I need to watch this. It takes a tired.
I think it's because it's in live action and it's not animated. If this was animated, you'd be like, oh, I've seen this before.
I've kind of seen this before. But yeah, I mean, you put some killers in there. Music, win me over. It looks like, I do love everybody's southern accents. Like, it's a weird thing to add. But that's quite amusing, like hearing Jake Johnson with their southern accents. Yeah, it looks really good, Just all the toys look really interesting. There is one shot of like the clown like figurine dude just dancing around with a glove. It looked like. And I don't know whether it's meant to be an amusing moment, but definitely in the moment, it felt like it was a sad moment. A very sweet moment. So I'm definitely keen to check this out. This is releasing on Netflix, 24th of August, so not too far away. Last trailer for this week is The Banshees of Inisherin. Inisherin? Let's go with that. Directed by Martin McDonough, starring Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, Kerry Condon, and Barry Keoghan. Set on a remote island off the west coast of Ireland, the Banshees of Inisherin follow lifelong friends Padraig and Colm, who find themselves at an impasse when Colm, unexpectedly puts an end to their friendship. A stunned Pedrick, aided by his sister Siobhan and the troubled young islander Dominic, endeavours to repair the relationship, refusing to take no for an answer. Pedrick's repeated efforts only strengthen his former friend's resolve, and when Colm delivers a desperate ultimatum, events swiftly escalate with shocking consequences. Dylan, you're a big fan of In Bruges. What do you think of the trailer for The Banshees of Inisherin?
Yeah, that's all. Like, if you were like, look, look down.
Yes.
They're like, after his hot success with 3 billboards outside
Ebbing, Missouri.
He's decided to come back and do another film with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in Ireland. That's all I really needed to know. I'd have been like, cool. What's it about? Don't know. Don't care. I'm down. Because they have such good, like, their chemistry is what makes In Bruges so good. Like, just their back and forth banter. And this looks similar. Maybe a little bit more serious. I don't know. There's still some comedy elements here. But In Bruges is funny, but it's also serious. So I guess this sits in the same sort of territory. But all I know is watching this, I went, fuck, can't wait to watch this. But also, probably time to rewatch In Bruges.
I'll tell you what, we'll watch it before this.
Yeah.
Even though it is set to come out Boxing Day, so it's not really a Christmas movie, but maybe we'll have to make an exception.
Sounds like it'll be a Christmas
movie. It sounds like we'll just have to double up this year.
Yeah. Fuck it. No, I'm going double thumbs up. I really don't know what's going to happen, but that's fine. I don't need to know. As I said, I don't even need to know anything about the movie, but yeah, double thumbs up for the trailer. Definitely sets a tone. I have no idea if someone's about to get their fingers chopped off. Find out. Don't know why he stopped talking to him. It's weird, but what a prick. Even the priest is like, you're an asshole. Yeah, he's like, it's not what's he asked him like, it's not sinful, but it is mean or something. Like the priest says.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up from me. Like, just the ridiculousness of this whole situation is very amusing. Just, Colin Farrell playing this, shocked person who doesn't believe that Brendan Gleeson's character is not going to be his friend anymore. Like, I would freak out if you're like, suddenly, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
It is weird though, right? Like, imagine you're like really good friends with someone and they're like, no.
It's like a old-timey form of ghosting. It's like really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, it's just like real life ghosting. You just ghost him down at the local bar. No, we're not talking anymore. We're not friends. What?
What happened? I don't understand.
Have you watched In Bruges, by the way? No?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's been a while, though.
Yeah.
So, definitely rewatch as soon as it makes sense. Yeah, so like I said, this is coming up here in Australia on Boxing Day. Earlier in the US. But, what are you going to do? Yeah, so that's all the trailers for this week. Let's wrap up this week's episode of What Do We Watch with our What Do We Watch Top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And, to honor the demise of Batgirl and the Scoob prequel. I can't remember what the full name was. RIP. This week's top 3 is top 3 cancelled films that we wish we could see. Yeah, pretty wide category.
Good, because I included something that I don't think is technically cancelled, but like it's a movie that doesn't exist that was going to exist. So,
okay,
yeah.
Dylan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Phil and Chris Lord's Solo. Does that count? Because it is. I'm counting it.
I mean, it wasn't technically cancelled, right?
Well, they shot apparently three-quarters of the movie, and then they reshot about 80% of that. So,
Let's just say yes. So,
yeah.
they cancelled their employment, so I guess that's technically true.
Yeah, there was a cancellation within this. There was a lot of problems, and yeah. But apparently the movie was nearly all but done. Apparently they shot like 80% of it, or around that, and then they reshot nearly all of it. Like there was a $120 million reshoot, because they basically just started from scratch. They changed nearly everything, so the reports go. So I really liked the idea of them doing it. I feel like Ron Howard's version is very paint by numbers, and he was brought in to be the paint by numbers guy to get that movie done and out the door. However, the reason Chris and Phil Lord were let go and fired is seemingly because what they wanted to do was not too outlandish or too crazy or whatever. But I'm also like, well, why the fuck did you hire them if you're not going to let them do that? What's-it-McCall's character was some lion alien creature, the bad
Paul
guy,
Bettany.
Paul Bettany, like, and all these other things that you can read about online that just make the movie sound way more interesting. Yeah, so that's my number 3.
Yep. Look forward to the Taika doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
If they were too outlandish,
Why don't? That's the thing. Like, I don't. Yeah, it's weird.
All right, my number 3 is New Gods, the film that was set to be directed by Ava DuVernay. Her writing a script with Tom King, who's a known comic book writer, who most prominently did within the New Gods. He did Mr. Miracle, which is a fantastic graphic novel now that you should all read. And then he just cancelled it because they didn't want Darkseid to be in this movie, as well as the recently released Zack Snyder's Justice League. Dumb. Especially now.
Because it literally wasn't connected to anything. It was just...
Especially now where there's been reports that they're like, no, even if people want to use footage from Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's not a real film. It didn't happen.
No.
There's only one Justice League movie, and it's the one that we released in cinemas. So yeah, that's very disappointing. I would have really loved to have seen that. Because I doubt we're ever going to get New Gods ever again. At least a movie focus on them, because DC can't go 5 years without fucking up their plans for DC movies. All right, Dylan, what's your number 2?
Number 2, keeping on the DC train, Superman Lives, directed by Tim Burton, starring Nicolas Cage. I feel like one of the most talked about unreleased, unfinished projects. I don't remember how much they shot. I think maybe they just started production, or like the most prominent thing that gets out there is all the test shoots of Nicolas Cage in the suit and everything. There is a documentary about it. I can't remember the title of that, but that's pretty good. I think Kevin Smith's in it talking about it, a bunch of other people. I think it was directed by John Snapp, or John Snapp's in it. I think John Snapp. I think it would have been really interesting. The basis was apparently Death of Superman. That was the storyline they were going to cover. I really like Tim Burton's Batman movie. I feel like this wouldn't have been quite that. It would have been like I feel like he would have made Superman as I don't know. Like, it would have been different. But that's the thing. Like, it would have been Superman, but different in a way that I feel like would have been really interesting. Nicolas Cage as Clark Kent, crazy. Give me that. Yeah, one of the biggest disappointments is we never got this movie.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. My number 2 is a movie called Larrikins. So this was a movie that was set to be directed by Chris Miller and Tim Minchin, with Tim Minchin also supplying a lot of the music and songs. So this was a DreamWorks animated film in which the story follows a desert-dwelling marsupial known as a bilby who has been living under a rock his entire life before he gets kicked out by his parents and told to get a life. He does so by going on a road trip with a band in the Australian outback. This was at DreamWorks for several years. Tim Minchin had been working on it for 4+ years. Then they changed executives and it just got cancelled out of the blue. So yeah, as a big Tim Minchin fan, very disappointed that this never came out. Especially because it had like a full-on Australian cast. Hugh Jackman was playing the lead, Margot Robbie, Naomi Watts, Jackie Weaver involved, Josh Dawson. It was like a full Australian affair, and instead we got Return to the Outback later with Tim Minchin, which is, it feels like a bit of a downgrade. So that is my number 2. Dylan, what is your number 1 cancel movie that you wish you could see?
Number 1 is, again, there's lots of contradicting stories about if this, like, what the story is, but My Best Friend's Birthday, which is Quentin Tarantino's first movie. He apparently, there's these stories that it was finished and then a fire burnt it up and only 20 minutes survived. Other people have said that the movie was just never finished. Other people have said that like he just simply never released it, or studios never wanted to touch it. I don't actually know what the truth is, to be honest. All I know is he screened like a cut of it, but like only half an hour or something like that sometimes at film festivals for shits and gigs. But it's his first ever movie he ever did, like shoestring, proper, like even
like
less than Reservoir Dogs.
$5,000,
Yeah, like fuck all. But the most interesting thing is that was a comedy, starring Quentin Tarantino as like the lead character who's like going to looking after his best friend after he broke up with his girlfriend or something. Yeah, ridiculous. But just as a Tarantino fan, this is like I can never check this off the list. Yeah, the Tarantino checklist of things he's directed. So
it's a good choice. My number one, Spider-Man 4. The fourth movie in the Spider-Man Tobey Maguire.
Still get
Sam
it,
Raimi. The Sam Raimi directed Spider-Man quadrilogy series of films. It was set to, focus on the Vulture, who was set to be played by John Malkovich. Anne Hathaway had been cast, or was rumored to be cast as Black Cat. Dylan Baker was meant to come back and play Kurt Connors and actually turn into the Lizard, paying off 3 movies worth of setup. And Bruce Campbell was meant to play like a bigger role. But, they decided to reboot it and get Andrew Garfield instead. Which was fine because the Andrew Garfield movies are good. And you should check out our Spider-Man rewatch back on the MCU rewatch. On All New Marvelcast, that's where they are. It would have been cool to have gotten a 4th Spider-Man movie. Especially where they left it at the end of the 3rd one. It would have been nice to have gotten some sort of continuation other than, spoilers. No Way Home. So yeah, that's our top 3 cancelled movies that we wish we could see. Let us know on Twitter what cancelled movies you'd like to see other than Batgirl and Scoob prequel, whatever the subtitle is. You can let us know on Twitter by going to explosion.com/Twitter, or you can jump into Discord and let us know there at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review, Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser, or leave us 5 stars. Anywhere you can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.